Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 25 of Your Take, My Take by John and Jacob. I'm John.
I'm Jacob.
And today we wanted to apologize for taking so long to do another episode, but we've been just enjoying watching college football and pro football and managing our fantasy football teams. But we think it's important now that we come back and try to help you guys the rest of the season. Today what we wanted to do is to give you our picks for week 6 of each individual game. We'll give you who we think is going to win. But as we always do, we're going to start off with a coin flip to see who goes first.
Yep.
All right, Jacob, ready?
Yep. Heads. Oh,
it's heads. Go. All right. So I'll go down the list first. So
do you want to do it like that, or should we do the other way?
I'll just say the game, and then I'll make my pick, and then you can follow after that. And then the next game, you can do it.
All right.
All right. So the first game we're talking about is the Dolphins and the Jags. It's at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's winless. I actually think Jacksonville is going to pull this one out. Jacksonville's been there pretty close. I think they're due. I like Trevor Lawrence. The Dolphins aren't scaring anybody with their offense. Their defense is pretty solid, but I think the Jags have enough weapons to be able to pull this one out. So the Jags are going to be on the win column, and they're going to win. What do you think?
I actually thought the opposite. I picked the Dolphins. The Jags, Trevor Lawrence is really good. He throws a lot of turnovers. The Dolphins' defense is a solid defense. They have solid corners, and Tua Tagovailoa, but he might be coming back this week, so that could really boost their offense too. So I think the Dolphins will win. Next game, Vikings versus Panthers. I'm gonna go with the Vikings. I like their offense better, and that's pretty much it.
I think the Vikings. I had the Vikings too. I think they should. I think they're the best 2 and 3 team in the league. I think they pretty much should have won every game, maybe besides one. And so I have the Vikings also. The Panthers without McCaffrey is just a different team. So I have the Vikings winning that one on the road.
Yep.
The third game is the Chargers versus Ravens, and this was kind of a hard one.
This is a hard one.
This is both very high-powered offenses. They're both quarterbacks are actually playing pretty well, but I like Justin Herbert better than Lamar Jackson. I think Herbert has more weapons, and so I have the Chargers winning at Baltimore, which gives us a little bit of pause, which gives me a little bit of pause because Baltimore's a tough place to play, but I think the Chargers are going to win that one in a very high-scoring game.
Yes, I do believe this is going to be a shootout. I also have the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert is playing really good right now. He's got more weapons around him, and I think he's a better passer than Lamar. Oh, he is a better passer than Lamar. But I think this is going to be a good
Even though I think Lamar is leading the league in yards right now in passing.
Yeah, it's a crazy year, so... Next game, the Rams versus the Giants. This is a pretty simple one for me. I'm gonna pick the Rams. Giants are a little banged up right now, and even if they were fully healthy, I would still pick the Rams to win. So I'm gonna pick the Rams.
Well, this is another road team that I think is going to win. I think the Rams are going to beat the Giants. I think this is pretty much a safe pick in terms of. The Giants don't have Barkley either, and so I think the fact that the Rams are probably one of the better teams in the NFC, and so I'm going to pick the Rams in this one.
Yep.
All right. So the next is the Houston Texans go to the Indianapolis Colts. I have the Colts winning this at home. I just don't trust Houston and their offense and their defense isn't very good. The Colts have a very good defense, and they also have a good running game. And Carson Wentz isn't having a bad season.
Not playing bad.
And so I have the Colts winning at home.
I picked the Colts too. They held their own for 3 quarters against the Ravens. I just like the Colts better. The Texans are one of the worst teams in the NFL, and the Colts are a solid team all around, so I'm going to pick the Colts. Next game is the Packers versus the Bears. Divisional game. Doesn't matter for me. Packers are really good. Bears defense is solid, but it doesn't match for the Packers. I think Packers are easily going to win this one.
I have the Packers winning this one also on the road. So it's a lot of road teams, which kind of makes me a little bit nervous, but I have the Packers winning this one too. The Bears always play the Packers tough, and the Bears defense is legit. I just don't think they have enough offense, and they don't trust Fields enough to wing it yet, and so that's kind of limits him. So I had the Packers winning this when you have Aaron Rodgers and that team. That offense is stellar.
Yep.
So the next one is the Bengals versus the Lions in Detroit. This is actually a really tough one, and I'm going to say the Lions are going to win. If we can limit Cincinnati's big plays.
Yeah, they can't.
But if we can eliminate that, the Lions have been in there for every single game. They just had some really bad luck. We had Baltimore beat, and he set the NFL record in this field goal. And we also had the Vikings beat, and that guy kicked a 55-yarder. And so the Lions are actually in every single game. I think at home, I think they're going to go over it, and then they're going to come on the win columns. Just like the Jags, I think the Lions are going to be able to win at home.
There's a common denominator, and that is the Lions are the Lions. They're always going to find a way to lose. By the end of this, they're going to be 0-6. They don't have a good defense.
The defense wasn't bad against Baltimore or the Vikings.
They're going to give a lot of passing attempts to. They're going to give up a lot of deep route or deep plays, I think. This is going to be a weird game, I think. But I think the Bengals are going to win. The Bengals are pretty solid. They played well against the Packers. They could have won the game against the Packers. But, yeah. But I'm going to go with the Bengals on this one. All right.
I'm not a true Lions fan.
No, it's just we're tanking.
Here's the next one.
All right, Cardinals versus the Browns. Oh man, this is a hard game. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. I know, I know we're all hurt. I know everybody's hurt. I know our head coach is hurt. I'm a believer in the Cardinals. I'm a true fan of the Cardinals. I know it's a good thing that Nick Chubb is out and that Baker Mayfield is still an NFL quarterback. That really helps. But I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. The Cardinals are really good right now. No one can stop us. If we just give the ball to DeAndre Hopkins, we'll be fine. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals.
So this was a real tough one for me too. I'm actually going to say this is the first week the Cardinals are going to lose.
No, you're not a true fan then.
and the reason why is this. I think Kyler isn't 100% healthy.
Yeah, that's true.
And that defensive line, Myles Garrett and company, is going to cause a lot of problems, and they're going to hit him. He's going to be hit in this game. And that's what worries me is the Browns' defense is pretty solid. And if we don't do what we need to do, it's going to be rough. And the problem, we're also playing in Cleveland. And I understand Nick Chubb is hurt, but they also have Kareem Hunt, who is a NFL starting running back.
Yeah.
This was a real tough one. I think the problem is I don't think Kyler's healthy. If he's not healthy and if his arms and he can't throw those passes, he's going to struggle. And against this defense, who goes after quarterbacks, I think this is the week that the Cardinals are going to lose one on the road. If it was at home, it would be a lot closer, but I think the Browns are going to pull this one out. All right. Cowboys, Patriots. The Patriots aren't the Patriots of old. The Cowboys offense is probably one of the top 3 offenses right now. And so I have the Cowboys winning this at New England. And the only reason why I think the Cowboys lose is if it's snowing in Boston and there's crazy winds and they can't do anything. Even that, I still think they win by 3 touchdowns. But I just think the Cowboys are a much better team right now.
Yes, I'm going to pick the Cowboys too. The Patriots throw a lot of checkdowns right now. Mac Jones is throwing a lot of just dump-offs. If you look at stats, they need to score every single time they're on the field if they want to compete because, Dallas will. And I think that New England can't do that. New England's very overhyped in the beginning, but I don't think they're going to come close. I think this is going to be a blowout, Cowboys. Next game, this is probably the hardest game. Raiders versus Broncos. You have a very bad Raiders team right now.
They're not that bad.
Okay, so it's Raiders versus Broncos. Oh man, I hate this one. I'm going to pick the Broncos just because their head coach is out. Broncos are getting an easy win again. This won't be an easy win, but it's like if they had their original team, they would win. It's just because of their defense, honestly. But I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
I forgot to all say with the Cardinals, our coach is out too, and our best defensive player is out. So with the Raiders and Broncos, I have the Broncos at home to win it. I think the Raiders are in a state of disarray right now with Gruden being fired. I have never been a big fan of Derek Carr. I think he's awful. And so
the whole team.
I just don't think the Raiders have enough. And I think the Broncos defense is going to do it. All right, Seahawks versus Steelers in Pittsburgh. I have the Steelers winning this and that's a big part because Wilson's injured. If Wilson was injured, I think this game would be a lot closer, and I think the Seahawks might pull it out because Ben Roethlisberger looks like a 50-year-old man out there. He probably is 50.
He's a 50-year-old man out
but
there.
I mean, he's playing like it now, and it's too bad because he has weapons still. But he's not the same Ben. But I think the Steelers will win at home against a banged up. Oh, Chris Carson's also out, and so they're the best two offensive players. Well, besides DK and Tyler, but who's going to throw him the ball?
Geno Smith.
Yeah, I think the Steelers win this at home pretty comfortably.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Steelers too. A big part is Russell Wilson and Chris Carson are both on IR, and they're both hurt. So you'd go with the healthy Steelers team. So I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think this will be a closer game than people will think. Steelers are just more healthy, I would say. And they're probably going to play better at home, too.
Juju's out, though. You know that.
Yeah, Juju's out, but he wasn't really getting the ball. Their best receiver is Deontay Johnson, so he's still there. Last game of Sunday is the Chiefs versus Washington. This one's a simple one. Chiefs. I know they've been playing bad, but I just think Washington's defense is one of the worst in the NFL right now. And the Chiefs still have one of the best offenses, I personally believe. So I don't even think this will be a close game. I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I'm actually surprised that the Chiefs aren't playing better defense, but
their defense is awful.
But the Chiefs are playing really poorly on defense, but their offense is that good. I think they're going to win too. I think Mahomes and Tyreek are going to right the ship and get to 500 ball. I still think they're a threat. I still think they're a top 5 team in the NFL. Yep. And Washington just doesn't have the weapons, and their quarterback just doesn't do it. They actually have weapons. Mm-hmm. They actually have decent weapons on offense. They just, when you don't have a quarterback and you get to them, it renders them ineffective. Mm-hmm. And so I have the Chiefs winning that one. All right, the last game. I think this is going to be a really good game, actually. The Bills versus Titans on Monday night.
Yeah.
It's in Tennessee. Oh man, Tennessee beat the Bills. I think. Oh no,
they beat them in the playoffs.
They beat them in the playoffs.
No, it might have been the Ravens actually. Oh no, they might have beat both of them.
So here's my concern about the Titans. The Titans, Julio Jones and AJ Brown haven't been completely healthy. Tannehill doesn't look the same, and if those guys can't keep defenses honest against Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry's great still. Derrick Henry's great still. He'll still do he'll still do what he needs to do. It's their defense has been a disappointment, and if their defense doesn't come up to the challenge, guess what? The Bills' offense might be the second or third best offense in the whole league. And so Josh Allen is a great quarterback. He's got weapons, and so no one's really been able to slow down the Bills. I had the Bills winning this one, but I think it's a shootout, and I think it's closer than many people think it is. But I think the Bills, and here's the problem: if the Bills jump on the Titans early, it will render Derrick Henry ineffective, and it would put the burden on Tannehill in the passing game, which hasn't really done much. And so that's my concern: is if the Bills jump up early, the game will be out. But I hope that Derrick Henry can control the clock and keep the Titans in the game. I just don't see that happening all the time. So I have the Bills winning that one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to go with the Bills. The Titans, what they need to do is that they need to just have the ball for as long as they can. They need to run the ball. Derrick Henry's on my fantasy team. I hope they do that. Well, they will do that. He's been getting a crazy amount of carries because they are really they're a run-heavy team. The thing is, they have two receivers that are always hurt. They're always hurt. So if those two are not on the field a lot, then I don't see the Titans doing much because they're just going to stack the box. They won't keep them honest because the Titans have nobody else, and Tannehill's not doing well as a passer right now. So I think that the Bills will win comfortably.
All right, Jacob. So that's our picks for Week 6, but I'm going to throw Jacob a curveball. Who's your biggest surprise team thus far in the season?
Oh man, okay. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals. We weren't like favorites this year. We were just supposed to be okay, like barely making the playoffs. But I think that we're easily top 3 in the NFL right now. We totally destroyed the Rams. The Rams are out of the question for us, I would say. It's just because Stafford's awful. But yeah. Who's your biggest?
My biggest surprise, I think, is the Cardinals being undefeated. But I think the biggest surprise is the Chargers.
Yeah,
the Chargers. What are they? 4-1, and they have young talent. I mean, Justin Herbert throws the ball, he wings it out, and he can. He's
legit.
He's a legit quarterback. And so I really like the Chargers. Here's the problem with the Chargers. Their defense isn't very good, but their offensive skill sets are unbelievable across the board. And so the fact that they came back to beat the Browns when they were down by that much and just totally stomped on them was quite amazing. And that was Herbert and his skill players. So they're actually the biggest surprise. Who's your biggest disappointment to you?
It's got to be the Chiefs. Chiefs are not doing well right now. It's just because of their defense. Their defense has been very underwhelming. They're giving everybody they're making every game a shootout right now. And you can't win football games from shootouts.
Yeah.
You can't rely on winning football games from shootouts.
I think the Chiefs' defense has bought into Patrick Mahomes too much, thinking he's going to bail me out every single time. And he has done that in the past, but they're not my biggest disappointment team. They are disappointing, but I think they'll right the ship. The biggest disappointment team that I have so far is the Tennessee Titans. I was very high in Tennessee Titans because when you have Derrick Henry, you have Julio Jones, Hall of Famer, you have an up-and-coming A.J. Brown, and you have Ryan Tannehill, who's done well the last couple of years, and their offensive line is supposed to be the best in the league. Cardinals went down there and put a smackdown like no other against them.
It's because they're injury prone,
and they're all injury prone. They're big.
Derek.
So they're big. They lost to the Jets. That alone has to be one of the biggest disappointments, and probably one of the biggest disappointing players in the NFL is Zach Wilson from BYU.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's awful.
I've said so from the very beginning. I think that young man's got talent. It's just the problem is he plays for the New York Jets. And when you play for the New York Jets, they're a career killer, unless you're a defensive player. But if you're a quarterback who goes to the Jets, I mean,
you're done.
In my lifetime, I think I've seen like 25 starting quarterbacks for the Jets, and none of them are still around besides when they go to another team. Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
We're excited. We love the football season, obviously, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Your Take, My Take by John and Jacob. I'm John.
I'm Jacob.
And go Cards and go Lions.